That's a shed, a small shed. That shed is too small. So what we're going to do is going to rip it down. I'm going to build a brand new, bespoke, massive shed all the way along there. Yeah.
Wow. 6 years ago, 6 whole years ago when I built this shed. And it's changed so many times in them 6 years. So the reason I had to build the shed was because we accumulated more and more children, and the shed that was here was just not big enough to house all their stuff. When I first bought the house in 2005, there was actually 2 sheds in the garden. One, an 8x8 at this end of the garden, and an 8x4 at the other end of the garden. The 8x4 was rotten as hell when I moved in, when I bought the house, so that soon went. But the other one stood the test of time until we realised that we didn't have enough room. So what I want to do is have a look at my bespoke shed that I built, see how it's fared up in the last 6 years, see what I could have done different, and see what I can do to make it last at least another 6 years or so. So if you want to see, up here in the card there is a playlist to when I built this shed in 2018, if you want to go and look at it. If you don't want to go and look at that, then I'm just going to give a little quick recap as to the materials and what I used to build this shed. Roll VT. Now, if you can cast your mind back to 2018, you may or may not recall that it was rather hot indeed. It didn't drop below 25 degrees for pretty much the whole of the spring and most of the summer. So first of all, after clearing out the shed, we had to dismantle the old shed and then get rid of it to clear the area so we could continue to build the new big bespoke shed. First job was to mark out and dig 11 post holes, which you can probably imagine with the heat, the ground was rock hard, but it needed to be done. Once the posts are in, then I could start building the timber frame base out of 4x4, which would then be shored up with the 11mm OSB, which again was very difficult because pretty much every single day it was over 30 degrees whilst I was putting these posts in and building this base and putting this OSB down. Once the final piece of OSB was down on the floor, then I had a working platform so I could start building the sides. Now the sides were built out of CLS timber and featherboard. Again, very, very brittle timber because it had been sat in the heat for so long, pretty much every single board was splitting. Once the sides were done, I then took the old doors off the existing shed, which, as you probably can tell by now, they'd been changed for ones that I got from my local pub, which are much better doors. But for now, these doors off the shed had to do. Now it's time to start the roof. Now to form a structure that I could screw to for the top of the apex, I used 6-inch gravel boards screwed together to get the almost 7 meters. Then once again I just used CLS timber to form the apex pieces, which were around about 3 feet apart. Now here comes one thing that I wish I'd done different. I used 9mm OSB on the roof. I'm kind of wishing I'd actually gone with 11mm, but I used 9mm. There was no membrane, no nothing put on the roof. I literally used roof and gutter sealant, went along every single join of every single piece of OSB and then along the top. And then I put an initial piece of roofing felt that I had all the way along the apex of the roof, right along the ridge line. And then I just went and bought shingle tiles from B&Q, which cost a fortune, but they did look nice. And that pretty much the start to finish of the shed, which, as you well know, has differed slightly from when it was built.
And now you're pretty much all caught up. Here it is. Well, it's not exactly how it was when I finished the build in 2018. I had to then carry on in 2019 to rearrange some things because initially at this end there was a porch. There's no longer a porch, obviously. I've had to close it all in. There was going to be a porch because Emma at the time, she had a nearly 4 metre hand-built canoe which was going to live inside up in the roof, but she decided to get a blow-up one, so I binned that off. So I closed the whole end in, and that then became the shed area, and then the whole thing basically became a dumping ground until I built this one, obviously, which is my bike shed, which is no longer got bikes in. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So here is my shed 6 years later. Now, pretty much happy with it within reason. Did mention earlier that I went with 9mm OSB board instead of 11mm OSB board. Now I'm not sure if you can see, you might, I don't know, can you see that? It's kind of like dipping a little bit with the 9mm OSB board, so probably could have gone with the 11. I was just trying to save money, but back then the OSB boards were like £18 a sheet. They're not £18 anymore. Shingles lasted really, really well for the 6 years. They have a little bit of damage. I don't know if you can see down here, look. A little bit of damage down here and along there, but that's mainly from where we've been climbing up and sitting on the shed because it's nice up there. Other than that, probably should have put guttering on the shed. I probably will do the guttering because I have plans to change the roof out, but I'll talk about that in a bit. So yeah, pretty much stood up well. You can see, I don't know if you can just about see here, you see the OSB, obviously there's no fascias or anything there, so the OSB's been exposed to the elements, but it's done really, really well indeed. There are certain areas which, if you look down there, you can see greening on the outside of the shed, and over this side, greening. Again, that is pretty much just caused by the fact that I've got no guttering. I'm not bothered about the back because that literally just pours onto the footpath down the back, but this side, probably if I do redo the roof, I am going to get guttering put on, which would make a hell of a lot of sense. So yes, in the original build, you may have noticed that obviously the door, you can't really see, we'll have to go in there. There is, on this end, pretty much there's not a lot of access to that door, that end, but I never ever use that door whatsoever, ever. So yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I had to move the weather vane. I had a weather vane on that end of the shed. I've had to now move it onto this shed here because it's just way too noisy at night in the shed. But let's go and have a look inside it. Right, here we are inside the shed. Ta-da! It's lovely. It smells really nice because I'm burning candles and stuff. But the obviously you can see on the roof. So I'll push up there. Oop. OSB is in spot on condition still, like really good condition. I have never ever once had a leak in 6 years in this shed, ever, anywhere. And that was just from the roof and gutter sealant that I run up and down the ridge line, and then I put on one run of just cheap, like 20 quid a roll roof felt along the ridge line, and then done the shingles on top. And that is it. Yeah, no leaks whatsoever. Yes, there's a few gaps and stuff around the outside. I've had to fill in gaps and stuff on this side, but at the end of the day, it was supposed to be a shed. I mean, I wasn't even going to have electric run out to this shed. I was just going to have an extension lead with a plug through a little hatch in the floor, and then I was just going to run an extension lead down when I wanted power for a power tool. But that didn't change. I had a whole consumer unit put in, armoured cable run down. I even got an Ethernet cable run down here so that I can have everything on my TV, and I'm not worried about the kids on the Wi-Fi up there. I have lights every single where. I've got gaming. I've got obviously my computer. Everything's set up in here, and yeah, I was never not going to have electric in the end. But for 6 years old, she's done an amazing job. Obviously these doors I got from my local pub. They were the ones that replaced the old shed doors, which they sound like my pub. I love it. Obviously you've got to duck down to go in and out, and then you come into this area which you've seen before. If you haven't seen it, here it is. This is where I store crap, up there. Go up there. Store crap up there. Emma's got stuff. Turn the light on. Turn it on. Ah, there we go. So this is all Emma's stuff that she stores in here. I've got more storage obviously up here. Fridge and freezer. There we go. Chest freezer down here. Don't know. There it is. Food. Obviously, that's what you get in a freezer. But yeah, she's done me proud. Down here, pull out double sofa bed. Very comfortable. It has Teddy Fleece electric blanket on it underneath it. I have electric heater down here. I have another one which is one that you get in a what did you get in a shop, where it goes above the door. So you walk in, you're like, it's really nice and warm in here, but it's not. It's just psychological because that is literally above the door. I then have another one over here in this corner, which I only ever use when I'm making a cup of tea if it's really, really, really cold and first get up and I have to put that one on. And then I do have like a gas one for when I'm trying to save electricity. Now, during the shed build, I hadn't quite finished, but we weren't sure what we're doing inside the shed. But Emma found a load of kitchen units on the Facebook Marketplace for sale. I think it was 25 quid for something like 15 units. And they're actually, if you come over here to the drawers, this way, they're actually soft close drawers. They're actually better than ones in the house. So yeah, 25 units. So I stuck a load all the way down here, and I've got a load over there, and then I've got a load out there through that window in the bike shed. And that was one of the biggest bargains that we got when we was building this shed. Did used to have a hell of a lot of tools in here. Now I just have screwdrivers, and all the tools are out there or in my work van. So now all I have is like loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of candles and stuff, because I like my candles. Yeah, I do. And memorabilia, obviously. This in the summer is a godsend. Hopefully that'll change, like I said, when we do the insulation and redo the roof, and hopefully it'll just keep it cooler in the summer, and then it will keep it warmer in the winter, because it is literally one extreme to the next. So as soon as it starts warming up in the spring, very hot down here, it can get up to like 50 degrees, and it's just unbearable. Even with the fan, another fan run, you cannot be in here. You really can't be in here. And on the other hand, in the winter, freezing cold. Like literally, it could be like -3 outside. It could be -2, -3 inside here. So fingers crossed, when we sort the roof out, do the insulation. Can't really, unless I strip everything back to its bare bones, can't really insulate the walls in here. But then pretty much every wall is covered. I mean, I probably could take off this MDF and timber cladding behind here. I could insulate that and then put that back on. I like my feature wall down here, which is literally just the bare featherboard straight out to the outside. I could take it all off, insulate it, clad it again with featherboard, redo that. And then the same down this side, it is MDF'd all the way behind here, and I'd have to take the whole lot off and pull out all the units to literally just insulate it. And then obviously this end, not really worth it. And then I'm not going to insulate out there because that is basically shed area. So yeah, that is the insides of my shed. Like I said, I've got these windows. This window opens like that, like completely out that way. So it does kind of let some air in the summer, but not that much really. I'd just rather keep it shut. Yeah. Like I said, there is a few things that I am gonna do differently. I am going to, if weather and work-wise permit this coming season, I should have insulated the roof, but I never did. And I really do believe that I should do. And obviously using 8mm OSB. So I'll come back outside. So I was planning to redo the whole of the roof, like redo the whole lot. So bring it all down, literally down to the flat of the walls, redo the whole roof. Don't need to, it stood the test of time. So what I'm gonna do instead, I'm going to take off the shingles, bin them off, gonna leave the OSB on there. Then I'm gonna put a perimeter of batten, 25mm batten all the way around the outside, sit in 25mm insulation, then I'm gonna overboard it with 11mm OSB. Then I'm going to re-shingle it. Then I'm going to do fascias and gable end boards properly, finials on the end, and then I'm going to gutter along this side so I don't have that problem of it getting green where the water is literally running down and hitting it that way. So yeah, there's my shed 6 years later. What do you reckon? I mean, it did, I think all in all worked out, I think it cost around about £2,500 to build this shed, but it is bespoke. It is fits in my garden exactly how I wanted it to fit in my garden. I got the windows and the doors, and I made a window to make it all look kind of rustic, summer housey, and obviously clock, and it lights up at night, and which I'll overlay a little video so you can see, because obviously it's not dark. And there you go, there's my shed 6 years later. And then it never ended, because then I had to build this shed, because when I moved into this one basically and put a bed and a TV and everything, I had to get all the crap out and put it into this shed here. And then I had to build a timber aviary and then a timber bedroom. So God help me if there's ever a fire. I hope not, ever. But there you go, there's my shed. So thanks for watching. I shall see you again soon when I'll be talking about more stuff. Maybe aviary, maybe timber, I don't know. Goodbye.